with these two in the back on the right. Pat?
Yeah.
Give us just a second.
Handle the decorating there. Yeah. Pat 40 from Yahoo Sports. For Patrick, my question is, when the horn went off and you put your hands on your head, what thoughts were going through your mind? And for Scotty, after you got through the handshake line, what thoughts were going through your mind?
Patrick, you want to go first?
Yeah, I thought you always had to say that between questions.
No, I appreciate it.
Oh, okay.
Keep me straight. Thank you.
Well, the first thing that came to my mind, I was just in disbelief. It still hasn't hit me that we're going to be one of the Final Four teams in the country still playing for an opportunity to win the championship. And the next thing that came to my mind was just to go down on one knee and just thank God, just thank Him for allowing us, this team, just to fight through adversity, do it the right way, and come out on top, be here. At the beginning of the year, you always set your goal to make it here, especially last year when we ended in the same position, but we were the other team, and it was kind of weird because I'm so used to walking into my locker room after that final buzzer, but it was just all a shock and surprise and just gratitude.
And Scotty?
I can't really remember exactly, but I'm gonna go with happy.
That'll be it.
Back row on the right.
Yeah, Gary Shelton, Tampa Bay Times. Patrick, did you think tonight was going to be about the inside, about the guys who do the dirty work and the grunt work, and the game would be up to you guys?
I wouldn't say that. That wasn't the main thing that we were focused on. We were just focused on playing good team ball, utilizing each other. Whatever advantage we saw we had, just keep sticking to that. And early, that was me inside, and late, us rebounding on the glass helped us to solidify our win tonight. So I was just glad that I could have an impact, especially down low, and all the rest of my teammates.
Two more on the right, about the fourth row. Go ahead.
Downwade Sports Exchange. Scotty, just talk about the shot at the end of the first half. You feel like you pretty well demoralized them with that shot?
I think it was a big shot. It gave us a bigger lead, but I don't think it demoralized them at all because they came out at halftime ready to play, and they hit 2 threes back to back, and we're playing good defense. So, I mean, I gave them all the credit. They didn't give up. They fought through the whole 40 minutes, but we did the same.
A couple here on the right. Go ahead.
Yeah, Courtney Smith from Yahoo Sports Radio. For both of you guys, are y'all going to have to celebrate this, or y'all just going to put this win to the side and just focus on y'all last 2 games?
Patrick?
Just focus on our last 2 games. Just kidding. Coach Donovan says it all the time. We're going to celebrate. The sun's going to come up tomorrow. Going to move on, get prepared, get rest. Hopefully we have Sunday off. Then we're going to get prepared for whoever we have next. We keep moving forward. That's our goal. Just keep moving forward. Next game, hopefully we'll come ready to play. Fearless.
And was that also for Scotty? Okay, Scotty, any thoughts on that? You want to go to the next one?
No, the next one.
Okay. Left side, 5th row on the end. Go ahead.
John Mark, Commercial Appeal for Patrick. The country kind of raves about you guys' ability to defend. How do you sort of view defense fundamentally and the importance of it?
I think our defense and mindset is the foundation of our team. We just take so much pride into being able to disrupt the team and being able to lock down guys. And I think every single one of our guys is committed to that. For 40 minutes, just making the hustle plays, right rotations, because we know it's in order to be a good defensive team, each individual guy has to do their job and has to help the other guy. So we're all bought in on that and have that as our main focus going into every game.
I think we'll continue with questions for the student athletes. Questions for Patrick and Scotty right here, 4th row.
Jerry Ahern, USA Today Sports, for both Scotty and Patrick. Can you talk a little bit about the journey that you guys went through to get here and finally getting over the hump?
Patrick?
I think the journey starts with the very first day of when we were all together at the beginning of this year. And Coach Donovan just started with the telling us that we got to lay down the foundation. Everything that's happened in the past has no bearing on who we are going to be this up and coming year. And with that, I mean, we didn't start off the exact way that we should have, but Coach Donovan continued to remind us and humble us and help us see that in order to get where we want to get to, the end goal, we have to continue to chase greatness every single day and stay in the moment, not thinking about the bigger picture, just minimize it to what you have to do now, off the court, on the court, just to get here. And we took it. We just did that. We were all bought into that. We had great team chemistry. We had great love for one another, great clicking on the court, competing every single day, and fought through all the adversity, and we made it here. So just thankful that in doing it the right way, we were able to make it here.
Scotty, any thoughts on that one?
Pat pretty much summed it up. The only thing I would add to it is just the struggles that we went through this year have just made it that much more fun and brought us that much closer together. And throughout the season, each game playing it's just gotten more fun and more fun. And I'm having the most fun I've ever had in my life right now. And I love spending these games and spending the time with my teammates.
Back row on the right. I think side by side. Let's just take both of them.
Antonia English, Tampa Bay Times. Scotty, you were getting your legs, knees, something iced throughout the game. What was going on? What was that issue? And then also talk about just your feelings about being named the most outstanding player.
Yeah, for some reason, as soon as the second half started, I felt cramps coming in my legs, about to cramp up. So I got some ice on it, and I was fine for the rest of the game. But I mean, I'm happy about the award, but it's nothing compared to winning. Just winning feels so good, and I'm just so happy right now that we were able to achieve what we did so far with this group of guys, and it just makes it that much more special with the guys on my left and the guys on my right.
Same
Yeah,
row.
Patrick, Gary Shelton, Tampa Bay Times. It's been a long time since Florida cut down nets after an NCAA game. Could you talk about the trip up the ladder and what it felt like and what it meant to you to finally be trimming those nets?
Honestly, I think I was happier when we won the SEC tournament game. I felt just more pure joy. I think the reason for that is, we set the goal. Our goal at the beginning of the year wasn't to be the South Regional champions. Our goal was to be national champions. And just walking up the ladder, I just was probably thinking about how I want to be able to do this again. I want to do whatever I can to help this team to reach that ultimate goal that we set at the beginning of the year. And, I think that feeling just helped me to stay humble, to know that there's more hunger within us, within this whole team to keep going.
This will be our last question for the student athletes here on the front row.
With Billy having, talked to Scotty about transferring last year, and Will with his injury problems, and Pat and Casey, struggling to find their identity, what does it mean for you to have done this as a senior group together and, stuck throughout all the adversity and finally be able to cut down the nets?
Patrick?
It's really cool that through it all, of course it wasn't pretty, but we all stuck with it. And the fact that we were able to fight through it just speaks a lot about the character guys we have and the support and the love within our team to help guys just to stay positive through all the struggles. I mean, we've all faced countless things that brought us down and brought us to our rock bottom, but we all bounced back. We have great coaching staff, great family members around us, friends, our teammates. So it's just undescribable how we can go through all of that and be where we are today.
And Scotty?
Yeah, what Pat said, and I think what makes it so special is just doing it with your teammates. I mean, Coach D said before the game that he feels like you're destined to, like, things happen for a reason, and he felt like we were all brought together on this team for a reason, and I think that couldn't be more true. And just the way that we've gelled as a team and just love being with each other and love hanging out and love playing the game of basketball together, and that's what makes it so special. The struggles that we went through as a team and the mountain that we've had to climb, and just coming through it, it just feels great.
Patrick, Scotty, thank you. Congratulations. You guys are free to head back to the locker room. Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys. All right. As you see, we've been joined by head coach Billy Donovan. We'll go ahead and start with an opening comment or two from Coach, and then we'll take your questions. Coach.
Well, I would just say we're certainly excited about, getting the opportunity to move on. I thought in the game we closed out the first half really, really well. Did not start the second half well at all. Gave up 2 threes, lead one from 14 to 8 pretty quickly. I thought we got a little bit bogged down in the second half where the ball was too much in Scotty's hands. We didn't have enough flow in offense, and I didn't think we cut and moved hard enough. I will say this. I thought our team got a little bit worn down with about the last 5 or 6 minutes in the game, and I think Dayton had a lot to do with that. We were pressing, and what they do is they really space you, and they force you to really run to the three-point line, and then they bring it into the paint again, and they force you to run back out to the three-point line. And I thought our guys were a little bit exhausted doing that. Now, we gave up 8 threes, 4 in each half, but I thought the game was won by our offensive rebounding, by our free throw shooting, and that really was I think, the story of the game, because we only made 5 baskets in the second half, and we're a better offensive team. I thought we really offensively executed pretty well in the first half.
Questions for Coach? We'll start on the right side.
Yeah, Pat Dooley, Gainesville Sun. Billy, you talked when we were in Atlanta about how hard it is to win 30 games. How hard is it to win 30 in a row?
Yeah, no, it's hard to believe what these guys have done. It's amazing. These guys have been able to, for whatever reason, be able to put stuff behind them. And I think there was some incentives and some things out there in front of this team. Where we end up winning 14 or 15 in a row in the SEC regular season, and we've got a share or an outright SEC championship, and then it's, what are these guys playing for now? It was the opportunity with last year being the first year of going to an 18-game league. Trying to take that on as a challenge. We do that. Then you kind of get into a situation where you're in one-and-done situations. You play 3 games in the SEC tournament, so they're not even thinking about a winning streak at that point. And then you get to the NCAA tournament, and it's still one and done. So they're so far removed from the fact that how many games they've won in a row. All they know is if they don't play to their very best of their ability and they're outperformed, they're outplayed, they're going home. That's what happens this time of year.
Front row.
Billy, like I asked the players, what is it like to have these 4 guys stick through it? I mean, each one of them could have left different years, but you stuck through, and they all stayed.
I think today was a real human nature game because, for these guys, and I said this, I think, on Friday, it is a new team. It's a different team. But it's really impressive that the program has been to, this is the 4th Elite 8, now moving on to a Final 4. I'm not so sure that these 4 seniors, having gone through the experiences in the previous Elite 8s, could have made the next step that they made. And I thought in 2 of them, we played very, very well. I thought we played well against Louisville and Butler. I did not think we played well last year against Michigan at all. And I thought today we were really good in the first half, and we were okay in the second half. But I think there was an understanding of manufacturing different plays to help you win. We didn't win pretty tonight. We won where we got some stops late. We got to the free throw line and made free throws, and we offensive rebounded. And I actually thought we had some pretty decent looks. The ball just didn't go in the basket. But I did think the ball was in Scotty's hands too much, where we were just wasting clock, and he was kind of dribbling around. I'm running plays, and he's just kind of like, well, I don't know if I should throw it or not. And he throws it to a guy, and then the guy kind of throws it back to him. But we need to do a better job there. But there were some things that we went through the last 3 years that enabled those guys to learn a lot to take the next step that they took this year.
Left side, toward the back. Go ahead.
Billy, Mike Neighbors, Cox Sports TV. You said these guys put stuff behind them. That was really shown in the games here. UCLA cuts it to 1. They go on a 10-0 run. Dayton takes the lead. They go on a 19-3 run. What does that say about this team making runs like that at crucial points in the game?
I think they understand the length of a game and how long a game is. And I think they're very, very good at making adjustments of what's going on inside of a game. You know, from the bench, we can do things with this group because they're pretty basketball savvy. They've got a good IQ, and you can make adjustments and changes. There's different things you can do where we can show a team something early in the game, and then we can show them something different maybe midway through the game. And that's a credit to those guys that we're able to do that. But they understand the length of the game, that there's going to be runs, there's going to be, and really what it is when teams go on runs, can we really pull together as a team? I thought last year that was a weakness of ours. I thought we struggled at that. I thought when teams hit us with a run, we almost got not fractured where it was chemistry issues, but we all weren't pulling together. And guys were either worried about the last play or, you know, play didn't go their way, or I'm 0 for 5, and it was, this group has learned that you've got to be able to pull together when it gets tough. And that's what we've done a good job of, maybe a better job than we did last year.
Right side, third row.
Yeah, Courtney Smith, Yahoo Sports Radio. Coach, with the way this team is playing right now, winning 30-plus games in a row, as a coach, do you still see maybe some tweaks that this team can adjust and make before the Final Four next week?
Yeah, I think there's things that we can adjust and we can get better at. I think like anything, there's always parts of your game that you look at as a team that you didn't maybe do as well as you would have liked. I didn't think that we really guarded Pierre very well today and around the basket. I thought he really, really hurt Yeget, and he hurt Prather a lot. You know, so just working, you know, to be able to handle that situation better. There was some pick and roll coverages that I did not think were very good, were blown today. We need to get better there. I thought offensively, obviously, we came in and, you know, scored 38 points in the first half and only make 5 field goals in the second half, maybe being more consistent there. So there's always things you can get better at, you know. But I think that at least our identity and who we are as a team is pretty much set in stone this time of year. You're not going to change who you are, but there are things you can get better at.
We'll move back 2 rows, Pat.
Yeah. Billy, I'm wondering, you guys have been so good at just focusing on possession by possession. And at the end of this game, you get to the Final Four, it's more of a milestone. Could you take a step back there after the game was over and appreciate what you've done?
Yeah, you know, I think I said yesterday, Pat, that, you know, on Friday, I think it's just different for me. It's just, I think what happens is when you get to the Final Four, there's a public perception that this is some culmination of a mountaintop that you've gotten to. And I've always looked at the tournament as it's a 6-game tournament. That's what it is. And we have nice names, Elite 8 and Sweet 16 and Final Four, and we, you know, but at the end of the day, you want to keep on playing. And I think from a perception standpoint, that's what the human nature part of it was. I think our guys were, and I told them they needed to battle this. You know, you get to 3 Elite Eights and you're back here. The past has nothing to do with it. You know, it's trying to move on and advance. And I would say this, you know, if we're not fortunate enough to move on past Saturday, you know, you could sit there and say, hey, Billy, boy, you guys were so close and you almost played for a national championship. It's the same thing. There's no easy way out. This time of year, each team is more and more invested. Now, with that being said, Pat, I couldn't be prouder and happier because in a lot of ways, outside the Michigan game, we were close to being in 3 out of 4 Final Fours right now, and that says a lot about these guys. But I think those experiences maybe helped us be a better team this year than maybe we would have been if we would have gotten to a couple of ones earlier.
Third row, go ahead.
Yeah, Kevin Brockway, Gainesville Sun. Billy, you talked about being worn down late, but it seemed like early on you used 10 guys. How much of that was a game plan coming in to combat Dayton's depth, and how do you think maybe it was effective for you guys?
Yeah, I think it helped. It really wasn't. We're always going to sub and use guys. It's kind of what we've been able to do. We probably played too many guys some extended minutes in that first half because of foul trouble with Prather and Hill. I thought Chris Walker didn't get a chance to play a lot today, but we got Devon Walker some more minutes. Yeah, I mean, we tried to use it. It really had nothing to do with Dayton as much as it's kind of what we've done all year long.
Left side, toward the back.
Julian Bimbo, Boston Globe.
Pass it up one row, if you will, please.
Then pass it up.
After you ask your question, just pass it up a row.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
the shot Scotty hit going into the half, you seen him do it before, but I was just curious. I saw you trying to relay a sign, and he kind of looked like, I don't know if he got it, and he just put it up, and it goes in, and it's a momentum shifter, and you go into the break, and you're up in your rally. Like, just what happened in that sequence, and how much do you trust him to make those big shots?
I had a play on that I was trying to bring somebody to him to set a high pick and roll, and it's kind of it's a little bit different action that we run. That's a little bit kind of a slip screen, and it opens up the floor a little bit. And so, obviously, like any play, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I think he liked the matchup, and he just said, "Coach, can we go flat?" Which is we put 4 along the baseline, and we move some big guys underneath the basket to try to offensive rebound. And I trust Scotty enough to put him in those situations. So he felt more comfortable just with the floor space to not bring help to the basketball. And obviously it was a big shot going into the half because it put us up 14.
One row ahead.
Yeah, Zach McMillan with the Commercial Appeal here in Memphis. Billy, Archie likes to talk about how wherever they go, they feel like it's going to be a home game because of their following. And, I mean, it was pretty loud. They were making a lot of noise. I'm wondering, did that add to the challenge tonight for y'all, especially when they made that run in the first half and it got going pretty good?
Yeah, I think here in the postseason, we've had to earn it. We played in the SEC tournament championship game, and it was basically a home game for Kentucky. And I would say coming in here, although I thought we had a really good turnout of Gator fans, clearly there was more Dayton fans in the building, and I'm sure with the whole seating situation, people maybe wanted to see them get a win and move on to the Final Four. So I think that, this postseason, we've been in some situations we've had to earn it, and I thought today we had to earn it. I thought Dayton, maybe Archie didn't feel like his team played great to close that first half, but I thought that they got off to a good start, had a little bit of a lull in the second half, and played pretty well coming down the stretch, I thought.
Back row right.
Yeah, Billy, Gary Shelton, Tampa Bay Times. I know you guys have had a couple of other tournaments where you've cut the nets, but an NCAA game, it's been a very long time. Does it seem like a long time to you since you went up that ladder and cut the cords?
It doesn't happen a lot to anybody. I think I've been able to do it a fair amount, and I've been very, very thankful for that. And then being on the cusp here the last few years, I mean, it's really, really hard to get to this point because every step along the way that you advance, you're playing against better teams that are playing just as well, if not better than you. But, we got a chance to do it in 2000, 06, 07, and here in 14. So, I mean, it's been nice, and obviously we came up a little bit short the last 3 years. Real short last year. The 2 years before that, maybe not so bad, but yeah, I mean it's a great thrill. I mean, this is what the tournament's all about, and you get a chance to go to a Final Four, and obviously it's a spectacle. It's a great sporting event. It will be, our guys have experienced a lot. They haven't experienced what they're getting ready to experience on Saturday.
We're going to take 2 more for Coach Donovan, Mike, and then we'll come to the second row.
Yeah, Billy, what's it mean to you as a coach to coach a team who, seniors stuck it out, overcame obstacles, and to be able to reach this point?
Well, I think it's a great lesson, Mike, just, for anybody. I give Patrick and Casey and Will and Scotty a lot of credit because I think during their tenure here, it hadn't always been easy. When Macklin left here and Patrick Young was supposed to be the guy that's going to fill in, he's got a year under his belt, and maybe people like, he's not in good enough shape, his motor's not good enough, and he went through a hard time his sophomore year, and he slowly got better and better and became the player he is today. Obviously, Scotty's situation is well documented. Willia gets dealing with knee injuries. Prather thinks he's a three-point shooter. He's a freshman and sophomore, and then we get him figured out that he's got to be a driver and slasher. And I think it's a credit to those guys that they stayed the course in terms of seeing a bigger picture than maybe wanting that immediate success. And I do think I think they're better players today by going through what they went through. If it would have been easier on them, I don't think they'd be quite as good. I think the struggle they had to go through has forced them to have some perseverance, some resiliency, some mental and physical toughness to be able to battle and fight. And more than anything else to coach, I think the thing you love about that is hopefully they can take those qualities to the next step in their life, because when they start a new career in their life, they're going to go through some of that themselves.
Our final question for Coach Donovan.
I was going to ask you about the sequence. I think it was a 3-minute sequence where you grabbed 7 offensive rebounds in the second half when they were kind of sneaking back into it a little bit. Yeah,
I thought the game was won, Chris, by the offensive rebounds. And you know what? I thought we had a couple good looks. Scotty's 3 was big. We got the lead back up to like 13 or 14. Then we had a couple of possessions where Scotty got in the lane. He missed some shots. Willia missed the front end of a 1-on-1 after getting fouled coming out, I think, maybe the right around 8-minute timeout there. I thought a couple of shots Scotty normally makes. He made some tougher shots than the ones I thought he would normally make when he got in there. And I thought, like I said, the ball's in his hands a little bit too late. But it was finding other ways to manufacture a way to win. And for us, it was rebounding the free throw line. They made 3 more threes than we did. We didn't take a lot. They made 8. But if you look at the free throw line, our offensive rebounding had a lot to do with that, which made that up. And, although we only made 5 field goals, in that second half, we at least were able to get to the free throw line quite a bit.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.